Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
Prime Minister Perry Christie expresses regret over making an obscene gesture. That story straight ahead.
The president of the Christian Council says the prime minister still can do more to make it right for the people of the Bahamas. The story coming up.
A church leader says the prime minister should learn to curse in private. Plus, Loretta Butler Turner says Dr. Hubert Minnis betrayed the Rebel 7. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina McNeil. Topping news tonight, though he stopped short of apologizing, Prime Minister Perry Christie says he regrets flashing his middle finger during a Progressive Liberal Party branch meeting in Fox Hill Monday night. Acknowledging that his actions sparked intense backlash and have emboldened many young people, Christie says he should never have done it despite his frustration over constant attacks on his family. Jasmine Brown reports.
During his brief address in the House of Assembly this morning, the Prime Minister explained what led him to flip the bird in front of a crowd of PLP supporters. But he also admitted that if he could relive the moment, he would not have made the controversial move.
When I ask myself, Mr. Speaker, on proper reflection, if I had the opportunity to speak in that place at that time, on that occasion, for the reasons I was speaking, would I do that again? The answer is no.
The Prime Minister went on to express his regret, insisting he was taking responsibility for his actions. However, he did not say he was sorry.
The balance that should exist at all times, or to prevent in full consideration the gesture, however it is described, that I did.
As for why he decided to flip the bird in front of the crowd that attended the PLP's outdoor branch meeting in Fox Hill, Christie explained that it was directed at people who have attacked him and his family.
And I just want to be able to say, sir, that I take responsibility. And I indicate that there was never any intention to speak to any other person or issue than those who were attacking me or my family.
Much of his communication this morning was spent reflecting on those attacks. The Prime Minister then urged fellow politicians to keep it clean as the election season heats up.
Many times I ask where are right-thinking people? When people go beyond the political definitions to attack family members, where are the right-thinking people? Where are these people who respond? Why do they remain quiet? This is the kind of public discussion as we approach general elections that we should have. Where we agree to standards, common lines of civility, because I apprehend that if we don't, we're going to leave scars that may have a permanent impact not just on the lives of people who are innocent, but on potential leaders of our country.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Reverend Dr. Ranford Patterson, says Christie must remember he leads a nation and his actions could have serious consequences. He says the Prime Minister's comments in Parliament this morning may not be enough for many people because technically he has yet to apologize. Kyle Joaquin has that angle.
Patterson says he was just as shocked as everyone else when he woke up on Tuesday morning and saw the Prime Minister on the front page of the newspaper with his middle finger in the air. But he said why he was so shocked is because he knows Prime Minister Christie and the type of person that he is. He said he never saw Christie as the type of person to let others get under his skin.
Just say I'm sorry. Just said, you know, I'm sorry. Don't give me I don't need no explanation. Just say, you know, Bahamians, I am sorry. This is not me. This is not my character. I'm sorry I allowed this to get under my skin to the point where I reacted the way I did.
The Christian Council president said the damage is done and the image of the Bahamas' prime minister holding his middle finger in the air will probably never disappear. But he said a sincere I'm sorry to the people of the Bahamas should do.
I think it was a heated moment in his life. And like I said, he needs to know and to remember at all times that he is the leader of this country. And the leader of this country should not be allowing himself to be lowered to a standard that's unbecoming of the office that he holds.
Several of Christie's cabinet colleagues have come to his defense, saying the prime minister has endured all sorts of personal attacks and may have just had enough. But Patterson says all leaders are attacked, and many of those attacks get personal. He said it's what public figures sign up for.
In leadership, people always offend us in leadership, and we just have to know how to respond to the criticism and all the other things that people do to leaders in our country, and not allow ourselves to go to the level of the people who perhaps are accusing us of whatever they're accusing us of.
Patterson says he's received calls from friends all over the world questioning what's going on with his country's leader. But he said he believes Bahamians will find a way to forgive Christie once he gives a heartfelt apology. He added that it's sad that after all these years in public life, the prime minister's reputation has to take this kind of a hit.
We don't want that kind of image to go out as to who our leader is, because I know Mr. Christie to be someone who over 40 years has been in public life, and I'm sure he knows how to deal with issues after all these years, and to allow anyone to get under his skin is not him. I don't understand how that happened this time around.
Reporting for our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
As one church leader expressed disappointment in the prime minister's actions, another offered this advice: learn to swear in private. Giorgio Bain has more.
While Bishop Simeon Hall says he understands the frustration of running a large organization, he's calling on Prime Minister Perry Christie to find better ways to vent his anger. Though Christie sought to explain today what led him to make such an obscene gesture Monday night, Hall asserted that those in leadership positions should learn to be tough instead of allowing critics to pull them down to such a low level. He added that the Prime Minister should have expressed his frustrations in private.
You have to learn to curse in private. That's how I put it. There's no other way to say it. You might as well don't be cute about it, you know. You gotta hold that thing till the next day.
Hall says mature leadership means having to apologize from time to time when you're wrong, even when the public hits you below the belt.
Mature leadership calls for being honest. I was not perfect. I am a human being. If you mess with my wife and my children, you know, I will come at you.
The former Christian Council president also dismissed two cabinet members' defense of Christie's actions, insisting their comments were not sincere.
They're playing politics. The Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Education, they're doing politics. The Prime Minister needs more help from all of his cabinet members who make promises to the Bahamian people.
Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Meantime, former Deputy Prime Minister Brent Simonette says the Prime Minister's hand gesture was an act of a desperate man, adding it was a clear display of the real Perry Christie.
All I can say is the Prime Minister must have lost it. The heat must be too hot in the kitchen, and I think his true nature has shown.
Simonette says Christie's actions were unfortunate.
It is regrettable that he, used that signage in a public forum, which has been carried on the front page of the newspaper, in the electronic press. Obviously, it's an act of a desperate man.
In other news, as she prepares to take on the Free National Movement and Progressive Liberal Party in the Long Island constituency in the upcoming election, opposition leader Loretta Butler Turner says she's hoping that if she holds on to her seat, she and other successful third-party candidates can band together to leverage their power. She says she also felt compelled to explain to voters why she and 6 other MPs turned on Dr. Hubert Minnis. Fanique Toot reports.
While her plan to build a strong alliance with other opposition forces failed, opposition leader Loretta Butler Turner once again defended the decision by 7 FNM MPs to oust Dr. Hubert Minnis, asserting each of them felt betrayed or undermined by the FNM leader. The Long Island MP, who appears on new RTV show On the Record with host Jerome Sawyer tomorrow night, said people have asserted that she could not wait her turn and simply wants to be leader. But it goes deeper than that.
If you look at each one of the parliamentarians, whether it was Richard Lightbourne, Mr. Chipman, Mr. Theo Neely, even Nico Grant, who didn't know that he was no longer going to be leader of government, of opposition business in the House, they all felt that they'd been betrayed.
Butler Turner, who challenged Minnis's leadership at 2 conventions, said she pulled out of the last race and agreed to be submissive to the party's leadership. However, she said while there was talk of unity, Minnis's actions did not match his words.
Because we had really reached the breaking point in terms of trying to heal wounds. And many people do not know that that is how it happened. You know, when you look at the narrative that is placed out there, it's, oh, that Loretta Butler Turner, she basically just wants to lead. She can't wait her turn. But when you have 9 parliamentarians and 7 of them lose confidence in your leadership, that is an indictment on your lack of leadership.
Following what she called a bold move by the Rebel 7, Butler Turner said her plan was to build an alliance between all of the opposition forces in hopes of attracting their supporters, taking the FNM's disenfranchised supporters, and appealing to frustrated voters. That plan failed. Her focus has now shifted to retaining her Long Island seat as an independent candidate. Still, Butler Turner says she hopes that she can band together with other candidates and be the tipping point after the general election.
Obviously, I'm going to have to go under a different banner, independent, non-FNM, non-PLP. And, you know, I've already began to do that. I think that my ground campaign is going well. And I'm going to move forward in that regard. And there are other individuals that are in the political fray that have said they would like to reach out and see if we cannot band ourselves together so that we can, in fact, be maybe the tipping point after the elections, should we all be successful.
While she has said she would be willing to work alongside the FNM leader to get rid of the PLP government, Butler Turner urged voters to shift away from the 2 major political parties. She made this plea to Bahamians.
I'm not asking you to love me. I'm just asking you to allow me to serve you and to serve to the best of our ability and to represent your needs.
Reporting for R News, I'm Vonique Tude.
You can catch Jerome Sawyer's full interview with Loretta Butler Turner during the premiere of our TV show On the Record tomorrow at 8 p.m. Still to come on our news, parliamentarians debate legislation to fight modern-day slavery, and the reconstruction of BAMSI's dorms continues. Stay with us.